This message begins by reminding you that confidence does not require constant explanation, nor does it depend on convincing everyone around you of your intentions or your worth. In a world filled with noise, those who remain calm and speak with purpose naturally stand out. Dr. Joseph Murphy often emphasized the power of the subconscious mind and the importance of controlled thought, and when applied to communication, this principle teaches that your inner belief shapes your outer expression. When you truly understand your value, you no longer feel the need to over-explain your actions or justify every decision you make. Instead, you allow your presence to speak before your words even begin. Silence, when used wisely, becomes a form of strength rather than weakness, and it creates an atmosphere where your words carry more weight. Many people weaken their influence by trying too hard to be understood, but true mastery of communication comes from knowing when to stop speaking. The less you chase validation, the more naturally it comes to you. Calm individuals who speak sparingly often command greater respect because their words feel intentional rather than reactive. This is not about avoiding communication, but about refining it so that every sentence has meaning and purpose. When you stop over-explaining yourself, you also stop draining your own mental energy on unnecessary approval-seeking behavior. You begin to trust your instincts more deeply and allow situations to unfold without force. Over time, this practice builds an unshakable sense of inner stability. People begin to notice that you are not easily shaken, not easily rushed, and not easily influenced by external pressure. That quiet strength becomes your signature. As Dr. Joseph Murphy suggested in his teachings, the mind responds to the beliefs we consistently hold. And when you hold the belief that you are already enough, your communication naturally reflects that truth. You no longer feel compelled to defend every thought or action. Instead, you move with calm assurance, knowing that clarity will always come through when needed. In this way, silence is not emptiness. It is power contained, focused, and ready to be expressed only when necessary. Understanding this principle allows you to navigate conversations with greater emotional intelligence, because you're no longer reacting impulsively to every comment or challenge that comes your way. Instead of rushing to fill every pause with words, you learn to appreciate the power of stillness and the strategic use of silence in building respect and authority. When you embody this mindset, you begin to notice that conversations become more meaningful and less stressful because you're not trying to force outcomes or control every reaction from others. You're simply expressing yourself with clarity, calm intention, and unwavering self-respect, which naturally attracts better responses from people around you. Over time, this approach reshapes your entire communication style, making you appear more grounded, more confident, and more in control of your emotional energy in any situation you encounter in daily life. That is true quiet mastery. Building on this understanding, the next step is learning how to apply calm silence in everyday interactions without feeling the need to defend or over-explain your choices. Dr. Joseph Murphy's teachings remind us that the subconscious mind absorbs repetition and belief, meaning that when you consistently practice restraint in speech, you also train your mind to remain calm under pressure. This is not about becoming silent in every situation, but about choosing your words with precision so that your communication reflects inner control. Many people fall into the habit of explaining themselves repeatedly because they fear misunderstanding or judgment. Yet this behavior often weakens their perceived confidence. When you release the need to constantly clarify yourself, you begin to stand in your truth more firmly. Silence in this context becomes a shield that protects your mental energy and preserves your emotional balance. Instead of reacting to every opinion or challenge, you learn to pause and evaluate whether a response is even necessary. This pause creates space for wisdom to guide your words rather than emotion or insecurity. Over time, this practice reshapes your identity into someone who does not feel pressured by external noise or unnecessary confrontation. As Dr. Joseph Murphy often emphasized, your inner world determines your outer experience. And when your inner dialogue becomes calm and self-assured, your external communication naturally follows the same pattern. You stop trying to win every argument and instead focus on maintaining your peace of mind. This shift is powerful because it frees you from unnecessary emotional entanglement with others' opinions. You begin to realize that not every situation requires explanation, and not every misunderstanding deserves your energy. In doing so, you cultivate a presence that is steady, composed, and deeply grounded in self-respect and awareness of your own inner authority. This awareness allows you to remain unaffected by unnecessary criticism and to respond only when your response truly adds value or clarity to the situation. As you continue practicing this mindset, you will notice that your relationships begin to improve because people start to respect your boundaries and your calm nature. You're no longer seen as someone who reacts impulsively, but as someone who thinks carefully before speaking. This reputation becomes a form of silent authority that does not need to be announced or proven through constant explanation. Instead, it is felt by those around you through your consistent composure. In moments of tension, your ability to remain quiet and observant gives you a clear advantage because you're not reacting from stress but responding from awareness. This is where true strength develops, not in loud declarations but in controlled presence. The more you embody this principle, the more you realize that silence is not emptiness but refined intelligence in action. It is the space where clarity is formed before words are spoken, ensuring that everything you say carries intention, direction, and meaning that reflects a deeply rooted sense of self-confidence and inner stability and lasting personal emotional strength always. Continuing this journey of understanding quiet confidence, it becomes essential to recognize how deeply silence influences not only communication, but also self-perception and emotional discipline. When you begin to apply this principle consistently, you will notice a shift in the way you respond to challenges, disagreements, and moments of pressure, because your mind starts to prioritize clarity over reaction. Dr. Joseph Murphy's teachings often highlight the importance of mental control and inner belief, and when applied to speech, they encourage you to align your words with a calm and deliberate mindset rather than emotional impulse. This alignment creates a powerful transformation where you no longer feel the need to over-explain your intentions, because your energy and presence begin to communicate stability on their own. Instead of rushing to fill silence with unnecessary words, you develop the ability to observe, reflect, and respond only when your input truly adds value to the conversation. This shift does not happen overnight, but through consistent awareness and practice, you gradually build a stronger sense of emotional control that cannot be easily disturbed by external opinions. You begin to understand that silence is not a lack of response, but a strategic choice that reflects maturity, intelligence, and inner peace in communication. Over time, this way of thinking strengthens your identity, allowing you to move through life with greater confidence, reduced anxiety, and a clearer sense of purpose. In this state, even when others misunderstand you or attempt to provoke unnecessary explanation, you remain grounded, composed, and unaffected by emotional pressure. This is the essence of calm authority, where your silence becomes your strength and your words become intentional expressions of your inner stability and confidence rooted in self-trust. By practicing this consistently, you naturally begin to embody a presence that does not seek validation, because it is already anchored in self-awareness and inner certainty. As Dr. Joseph Murphy often suggested in his philosophy of thought and belief, what you repeatedly affirm internally becomes the foundation of your external reality, including how you speak and how you carry yourself. When your inner dialogue is calm, focused, and self-assured, your spoken words naturally reflect that same energy without effort or force. This is why mastering silence is not about withdrawing from life, but about engaging with life more intelligently and intentionally, ensuring that every response you give is meaningful and aligned with your highest self. In this way, silence becomes a form of refined strength that elevates your communication, deepens your confidence, and transforms the way others perceive your presence, in every interaction you have. It is through this disciplined approach that you fully step into calm authority, where less becomes more, and your quiet presence speaks louder than unnecessary explanation ever could. This is the path of true composure, where confidence is expressed through simplicity, silence, and self-trust that never needs to prove itself to anyone. You simply are, and that is enough in every moment you choose to remain calm and centered. Always present now.